Three, two, one. Welcome to the SaaS Pulse Show. My name is Michael Bertoni, and I'm the founder and CEO of SaaS Talent. And I am unbelievably excited today. I have a longtime friend, longtime colleague. When I started Philly Tech, he actually was going to do phillytech.org. Can you believe that, everybody? He was
Yeah, I
he
forgot
was
about that. Yeah.
phillytech.org. I took phillytech.co, and he was like, Mike, what are you doing? And then we connected.
Yeah.
It is amazing. So it is Seth Goldstein. He is the principal creative director at Goldstein Media. He's been doing it for years, everyone. If you are a startup listening to this, if you're a tech startup and you need marketing help, SEO, website, all your digital stuff for an unbelievable cost, he is your man. So great to have you on the show, Seth.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, we go way back. We go way back. Back when like you were young and scrappy.
Yes, we're both around the same age, I think. So how,
We're
how
just
old are
no,
you?
you're a little bit old. You're a little bit older than me. A little bit wiser than I am. But not much. I have more gray hair. So there you go.
And you will recognize that Seth has an amazing voice, right, for
Oh,
radio,
thank you. Yeah,
because
no, I have a face for radio. Yeah.
he has had a podcast for years and years and years. So his podcast, The Entrepreneur's Enigma, if you're listening to this, if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, if you're a tech startup, you can get on Seth's show. We should
Hmm.
build a podcast network. That's what we should do. We should
Cool.
build a podcast
I'm
network.
actually on a podcast network, which I gotta get you on at some point. So
Gotta
yeah,
get on it. But it's awesome to have you on the show, Seth.
I love
And
it.
we've been catching up for years. Seth's been working the tech startup, the SaaS market, just like I have. He's been going through all the trials and tribulations
Oh,
over the years, right? So it's been amazing. But what I always like to start with, Seth, is the superhero backstory. It's what I always like to start,
oh.
the background and journey that led you to where you are today. So,
Oh, it is
oh,
sideways, up and down, left and right. I started doing web design in high school. We're going to go back to 98 as junior high school. So I'm 43 now. So yeah, it was a while ago. And so I started doing websites, loved it, did some websites for some people, went off to University of Delaware, go Blue Hens. We were talking beforehand, Mike almost went to UD, but he went to William and Mary. I don't hold it against him. But anyhow, so I went to the University of Delaware, wanted to go into advertising, marketing, and stuff like that. Didn't want to do business school because I didn't want to do calculus or any of that math stuff. So I got into the journalism program after some sweet talking of the journalism professors there. And then I talked to then Senator Biden on the phone, who's a former Blue Hen, who's a Blue Hen grad, and now President of the United States, on the phone because he's walking by his press secretary when they were on the phone with me. He's like, "Let me talk to him." I mean, regardless of what you think about Biden and his political beliefs, the guy's a good dude.
good dude.
He's a good dude. Whether or not you believe in his politics, we'll leave that alone. But he's a good guy, down to earth. And so we chatted for like a half an hour and got off the phone. I was like, I was hooked. I mean, and then I got into all the president's men, William Bernstein, and burning down Nixon, the Stephen Glass fiasco over the New Republic started right around then of what not to do when you're a journalist. I was hooked. The whole romantic notion of it. So I left college with a history journalism degree and minors in anthropology and political science. A lot of worthless stuff that you can't use, but I got some ROI on the journalism side. Was a journalist for 6 years. Loved it. Police reporting. I did feature writing. I did for some local papers in the Philadelphia and central Pennsylvania area. Burned out massively. My now wife, then fiance, was like, "Well, you've been doing web design on the side this whole time. Why don't you start your own firm to get the job? Keyword underline, underline, underline. To get the job, but you
Right.
need to get the experience to get the job. To get the experience to get the job." And well, 16 years later, I had a brief foray at Merck for about a year and a half. But other than that, I have been on my own. So version one Goldstein
Nice.
Media was a dumpster fire, completely dumpster fire. It was because I didn't go to business school. Remember, I was a history journalism major. Like I didn't know anything about business. We learned on the trials and tribulations. You learn what to do, what not to say, how to say things.
I think
And
we
then
did the
version
same
two is
thing.
much better. Version two is going better.
Same thing, Seth. Just to tell you, I think we all don't really know how to run our business. I mean,
That's so true.
if we're really honest with ourselves, I say it every week. I'm saying I need someone to help me run my business, right? So as when you're a small company, everybody out there, so if you're listening to this right now, when you're a small company, you don't know how to do this stuff. I mean, you're
No,
learning.
and don't feel bad about it either. Just learn. A lot of us don't know.
Exactly.
I'm 16 years into it. I'm still figuring stuff out.
At the highest level, what I always tell people is you got to figure out what you are. I mean, I am the rainmaker salesperson, right? I need somebody that can help me deliver stuff, right? And deliver it
Absolutely.
great, right? But okay, so let's get
You're the energy behind it. You're
right.
the caffeine of the company. I mean, if anyone knows Mike, and if you listen to these 30 plus episodes with Mike, his energy is infectious. Like, and you
Trump.
literally walk in, you're exhausted. You walk in to see Mike, and then a big smile, and he's like, I mean, he must drink so much caffeine in the morning because I mean, he's up and he's energizes you. So, I mean, yeah, it's a bromance here. I do love Mike Bertoni here, but it's the truth. He wakes you the hell up, which is good.
So I got to tell you, Seth, I met, so I have a client, this company called High Performance Salon Academy, new
Ooh, sounds
client
fancy.
that I just got. So the client, he is literally Anthony Robbins for the salon industry.
Oh
So
wow,
when I met with him, I'm like, I gotta up my game. Like, I mean, he was so literally, it's
I
like
knew that.
this guy was literally Anthony. Like, I felt like I was talking to Anthony Robbins for the salon industry because he has a
Oh,
coaching company. But then, I mean, so yeah, we got to keep up in our game. So
we
let's
have
get
to
in,
like
let's get
energy.
into gold, let's get into Goldstein Media, right? So
Oh yeah.
everyone out there, so if you again are listening to this, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a tech startup, if you're a SaaS company, if you need help with marketing, if you need to build a website, need to do a little SEO, Seth is your man. So Seth, explain to the audience what's Goldstein Media, right? What do you do? What's your value proposition?
All right, so at Goldstein Media, we focus mostly on small to mid-sized companies. We stay the heck away from corporate. So if you're a SaaS corporate company, we're probably not the right fit for you because I had a brief foray in at Merck and realized I don't like corporate. Anything by committee is not really a good fit for us. Well, if we have to go talk to 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the office to get one change made, not for me. More like 1 or 2 people. But anyhow, we deal with anyone from a one-man operation who's just starting out, one-person operation. Let's make it more politically correct here, and is just starting out, has a small budget, wants to kind of get started on things. Great. We've all worked with some big Series A startups that are like, we have a marketing person who's ripping their hair out. We can't hire more people, but we need marketing help. So we do everything from building the website out. We help them with the SEO, organic SEO, which is the quote unquote free SEO. It isn't, but whatever. That's a whole other story. We do some paid search. We do some digital marketing strategies and implementation, email marketing, and we'll even coach you on how to do a good podcast. So we do a little bit of
Nice.
everything. Yeah.
So, right. So, again, and marketing is one of those things. So, I partnered with Seth early on. I mean, marketing is one of those things that many founders and many solopreneurs, they don't know how to do it, right? And they don't know how to build a solid website or they don't know how to build solid messaging.
Mm-hmm.
So again, talk to Seth. So, what sets you apart, do you think, Seth? So, your clients that come to you, what sets you apart? What's your differentiation?
Well, the main differentiation is you get me, and my energy and all that behind the project. So I'll project manage the whole project. My team will build it out for you, make it look gorgeous, and get things done and all that. But you will always have me as a point person. Now, is
Mhm.
that scalable? We're not talking about scale here, but the whole idea is that you get me and you get my team, and you can see that I'm a fun guy to hang around with. I have Mike and Stitches already here. But the thing is that you're gonna have a good time working with us. We're gonna produce a quality product for you. We're gonna help you get found in Google, and we've done it for 16 years. So we're doing something right. So
Good job, Seth. So, yeah, I mean,
can't believe it's
Seth,
16
you can
years.
see Seth's personality, right? So basically, Seth, you like having a beer with the guy, right? I mean, that's the
Yeah,
type of person you hang out, you go to Doylestown, right? I mean, you do whatever you want to do in Doylestown, right? I mean, what do you do? I have no idea what you do in
go to a
Doylestown.
rest usually.
You go to a
It's pretty much
restaurant,
what there is
go
restaurants.
to a
Yeah,
coffee shop,
yeah,
you hang out with Seth in his office and you read all the books in the back. You
yeah.
read all the
Seriously,
good
no
all those books.
joke.
So let's dive a little bit deeper.
Yes.
Step into the granular stuff here. So for websites,
Yes.
for SEO, Okay, what's going on right now with websites? So let's start with websites because I'm working with a bunch of SaaS companies that are doing no code, like they're building websites like from
Mhm.
scratch. What's happening in websites? What's happening in SEO? What's cutting edge? Like what let's help the audience here learn a little bit.
Well, there's an acronym called AI, and it's rearing its ugly face everywhere. And
AI.
I'll call it ugly face because sometimes it works nicely, sometimes it doesn't. There's website builders out there that are no code, and you just tell an AI what you want, and it spits something out. It's usually garbage. Because it's a good starting point for an idea. If you have an idea, you can express it in words. It'll spit something out for you. Generally, I'm still very big on WordPress,
Mhm.
very big on WordPress, and I mean, powers 47% of the web is on WordPress right now. People are like, oh, it's not secure, or oh my God, you can get hacked. Well, if you don't update your plugins, or you don't have someone update your plugins on a regular basis, well, it's gonna blow up in your face. But that's the same thing with, but there's Wix out there, there's Webflow. They're all great platforms. The thing I like about WordPress.org, self-hosted version, is that it's portable. Meaning that you can work with me for a while. I can host your website for you, and it's fantastic. We're going great, but let's say we have to part ways for whatever reason. There's enough people out there that know WordPress that you're in good hands. And
Okay.
also you can you can move your site from server to server to server to company to company to company and not have to rebuild the damn thing every single time. Whereas if you're in Wix or Webflow or these SaaS, integrated closed code systems, you build it in there, you can export all your content, great, but the design is built in a proprietary system. You can take screenshots and rebuild it, but you have to rebuild it. And that's rebuilding means more money to rebuild. So it really depends on that's where the trend is. It's like people are like, we want to do no code. People love Webflow, people love Wix, and it's great. They're great platforms. Wix used to be really bad with SEO. It's getting better with SEO. It just depends on where your comfort level is and where your budget is.
Yeah.
Now, on the SEO front, SEO is in flux. SEO is in flux. It's less about the top 10 links. It's more about getting your name in the citation. So
Hmm.
gobbledygook, 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 BS, BS, BS from AI comes out. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. Most of the time it's wrong. So check your facts. But they give you citations next to a fact. You want to be that citation. So if you want to, what's the best, EA company to hire? And he says, well, according to Mike Bertoni of SaaS Talent, blah, 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 number one. And that's a link to SaaS Talent.
What I
That is
always
more
want to figure
valuable.
out, what I always want to figure out, Seth, is what I learned about SEO, like in my very rudimentary, is the keywords. Like it all starts with the keywords, and
It does
and
not
then
as
it's
much
not, but
anymore.
not necessarily like just simple keywords. It's like a little bit longer tail keywords. So explain that to
Mhm.
everybody because I'm still trying to figure out my keywords, right? So
It's
so
hard. Yeah.
SaaS, so SaaS recruiting, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like, so is that good or bad or whatever? How do you figure out keywords?
Trial and error. I know people don't want to hear that there's no special sauce to any of this stuff. It's trial and error. You put something out there, you wait a month, honestly, and see where it ranks you. That's how it used to be. Now what you got to think about is it's more intent. It's not a matter of links as much. I mean, links do matter that you get on other people's platforms and they link to you like Mike Bertoni at SaaSTalent.com, and they have a hyperlink to you. That's great. It's more now that you don't have to be linked. If they just mention Mike Bertoni on your page, Google's smart enough to figure out, oh, that belongs to Mike Bertoni over at SaaS Talent. It's bizarre how the voodoo is working now for them. So it's focused on good content more
What I
than
have heard, what I
keywords.
have heard recently, Seth, and I don't know if this is true, but video first SEO, like so I've heard that, again, you could tell everybody what you think, but I've heard when you're doing SEO and you're doing a blog, it's very good to
Yes.
have a video, right? Like a video up there too, and have video first. Like everybody's searching through video and what's that all about?
Be on YouTube. Because the second biggest search engine after Google is YouTube. For better, for worse, people like to watch things or skip to parts in the YouTube video, but people will search for like how to fix X, how to fix Y, how to do this, how to do that. And if you're like, how to hire a good EA, and then Mike's smiling face comes up saying, with his hands up in the air, because if you know Mike, he talks like this with
Right.
his hands.
No, I toned it down. People have given me a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I know, but I love it. It's endearing, Mike.
It
It's
used to
endearing.
be, it
Don't
used to be
ever
all,
stop.
it used to be all hands and laugh.
It was.
It's toned down. It's toned down a little bit more.
It's lower down. It's more circular motions than back and forth
Right.
motions. Anyhow, but the thing is, like, you want to get the personality of the person. People don't want to watch videos. They want to say, "Oh, Mike has the right energy for me. I want to work with him to get a EA from Latin America to work with me." You know, and Google will also see that Mike's talking about EAs, executive assistants in Latin America, in their video, and it's in the description a little bit, not keyword stuff. Just it's not casually Mike's like we're talking about EAs in Latin America today.
Nice.
Google will then rank you for those keywords because it's in the because it will listen to the video.
Right. So everybody again listening, websites SEO, Goldstein Media. So let's get into the challenges.
Oh God.
So right, me too. So 16 years in business. I've been in business almost 10 years.
Yeah.
What have been the biggest challenges, Seth, that you faced, and how have you overcome them?
Well, the biggest challenge, number one, was starting the company in 2008, banking crisis. No banks were giving out money, so it's called credit card, and you just kind of go for it. You just kind of get started. Second biggest one was the pandemic, which you would think that that would hurt me. Actually, it was probably the best years of my career
Right.
in this business because everyone's like, "Oh no, we have to be online. People aren't going to come into our brick and mortar store now. We can't even open our brick and mortar store for crying out loud. We need to be online." So people are knocking on my door saying, "Dude, we need to get on. We need to get a website going. Our website is crap. We need to get fix this, fix that." So that those are obstacles. But another thing is, it's tough. I mean, entrepreneurship, running your own agency, you're looking at the bottom line all the time, and there's up months, there's down months. Like Q1 of this year sucked. Q2 is going gangbusters.
Right.
Why? I have no idea. I mean, I have my hypotheses, but you really don't know. It's a bunch of different factors. And really, what you got to do when you're an entrepreneur is just you have to have the constitution, the gonads to kind of weather the storm. Know that it's going to get better at some point. What goes down has to go up. What goes up goes down. I mean, literally, every day is up and down for me because there's times when I'm talking to Mike right now. I'm busy doing something, and I have another after this. I have an hour off. So there's lulls in the day. There's lulls in the week. There's lulls in the year. And that's also with the money side of things. There's lulls in money because when there's a lull in business, you're not making money in that lull.
Right. No,
You
absolutely.
schmooze.
I mean, the thing about I think Seth and I that we have a lot in common is we both hustle. So if
We need a
you're
lot of
if
energy.
you're a solopreneur or you're an entrepreneur, if you don't have some degree of hustle in you, meaning you're working hard, you're trying to get business, you're talking to people, you're hustling. Like if you don't have that in you, you better find someone that you can work with that can help you hustle because it's hard. Because when the lull, same thing with me, Seth, for the last year and a half, it's been brutal. Right. And you have to keep hustling. You have to keep going. Right. So totally get that. Go through the lulls. So great podcast, Seth. This is awesome. Last question. 2 or 3 biggest piece of advice, right?
Ooh.
So always like to give your best advice to entrepreneurs, to people listening. What are the 2 or 3 things they should really be thinking about?
I would say if you're an entrepreneur, start it as a side hustle. Get a 9 to 5, then work 5 to 9 on your side hustle. Or at lunchtime, go out in the car and make phone calls. I know a lot of entrepreneurs out there, like Kelly Roach, who is a big time coach out on LinkedIn and all that place. She was working for a Fortune 500, Fortune 100 company. And on her lunch break, she was outside making sales calls. After work, she was and raising a family. I mean, it takes time. And you also, when you're an entrepreneur, you earn the right to work 80 hours a week. You have the freedom to work 80 hours a week. You don't have the freedom to work 30. You have the freedom to constantly be working, but honestly, it's a privilege. It is a privilege to be able to work as much as you do, the hustle, because you're making your dream. You answer to yourself and sometimes your spouse, but but you have a few people to answer to, and your clients are your bosses. So you have more than one boss to deal with. Another piece of advice is just get started. Just try something out. If you're interested in something, you see a hole in the market, try and fill it. And if it fizzles, fail fast. Nothing's wrong with failure. Failure is a chance to learn.
Yeah.
Failure is a chance to then dust yourself off and try something different or pivot. Every time I say pivot, I think of the Friends episode. We're getting the sofa up the stairs into Ross's apartment. And they're screaming pivot. So
Yeah.
you have
No,
to remember pivot.
I
Yeah.
completely agree. So little more, I'll go a little bit deeper. So you
Yeah.
have to get started. Everybody wants to start their own business. You have to get started. You have to be thinking in terms of some type of business process, some operations,
Hmm.
right? So when you have this great idea, go for it.
Yeah.
But again, you got to be thinking to yourself, how am I going to generate leads?
Hmm.
How am I going to do sales? How am I going to sell the thing? Then once I sell the thing,
You can produce
how am I
this.
going to deliver the thing? How am I going to deliver the thing? How am I going to deliver this process and this thing? And then how am I going to get repeat business? So you got to be thinking. What I have learned, the biggest lessons that I've learned is the business process, right? The
The process. Yeah.
operations. I'm not, you have your Steve Jobs, but you need your Wozniak,
Oh yeah, definitely.
right? So,
Good example. Not Balmer and Gates. Balmer was insane.
right. So Seth, it's been awesome having you on the show.
Oh, it's
And
been such a
again,
pleasure, dude.
go to Goldstein Media, connect with Seth Goldstein. Very, very simple stuff. Website, SEO, tech startup, SaaS companies. All my audience that's listening to this right now, go check out Seth. All right.
Thank you, Mike. It's always been a pleasure, buddy.
Awesome.